Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Motorhead Garage is presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
This is Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, and this is one great-looking Mustang. If you have a car that looks like this, you want to keep it looking great, and that means you need to use high-quality products to wash it and clean it and protect it. And Gigi, that's where Superior Products comes in. Tell me a little bit more about the company.
Yeah, so Superior Products is located in South Roxana, Illinois. We are a family-owned company. Everything that we manufacture is right here in the United States. We typically cater to the professional industries, detail shops, used car lots, dealerships, fleets, municipalities, anywhere they have a wash bay and they're cleaning vehicles all day long.
But I have seen some of the retail products at O'Reilly Auto Parts, thanks Gigi, and that is where Blue comes in. Now Blue, you're the national rep to O'Reilly.
Yes, so what we have here are our retail products for O'Reilly's. What you will find on the shelf is our Coverall High Gloss Tire Dressing, and that's like our #1 seller, everyone loves it. And when we have our VOC version of the Coverall High Gloss as well. So you got about 19 states that are VOC compliant. And also we have our Coverall Interior Dressing. You can use this on your tires and your interior. It has a really great smell and it repels dust.
And then we have my favorite name here, Dark Fury.
So Dark Fury is our tire wheel and bug cleaner. When it comes to Dark Fury, you want to make sure your car is cooled down, you wet the area, you're only using it on where there's a clear coat on your car and you paint your rim, and you spray it down, apply Dark Fury, let it dwell for about 30 seconds. You can hold it down or sometimes you might have to agitate it, but you do not want to leave this product on and walk away from it. You take it off instantly. Zap It is our stain remover. You shake it up to activate the chemical each time before you use it. On carpet, leather, vinyl, cloth, it takes out blood, gum, grease, Sharpie, ink, coffee stains. It has a really nice smell. It's a wonderful product. Now, with the commercial products, you can purchase a gallon up to a 55-gallon drum, and O'Reilly's do sell this. This is our Formula 4 spray wax, and it acts as a drying agent. So you can use this stuff in the sun. It helps prevent water spots, and it's an all-around great product. It'll cut down your drying times when you're washing your car.
And I see for folks that don't want to jump in and make a big commitment to buy a gallon at a time or something.
Yes, we have the Superior Sample Kit, and it has 8 products in it, 8 ounces. The first one is Muscle Magic, which is our degreaser, 50/50 dilution for heavy-duty jobs, 10-1 for an all-purpose. This is our concentrated version of Dark Fury. Also, we have Road Warrior, which is our soap/degreaser, good for taking black streaks off RVs, boats and everything. We have Dirt Buster, which is our standard soap, cherry scented, and it's just a great soap. You can use it in foam cannons. Zap It is our stain remover. Once again, shake it up before you use it. And then Aqua Gloss. Now, in our retail size, here is the Coverall Interior Dressing. But you can dilute this down, use it on your tires and your interior. Great smell, repels dust. Non-acid universal cleaner. This is an alternative for people who don't want to use acid. So for those heavy-duty jobs, you can use that non-acid universal cleaner. And then we have our Easy Shine, which is a quick detailer, great for showroom cars, in between washes, and it's also a great play bar lubricant.
All right, thanks, Blue. We're going to go back and talk to Gigi about the Coverall. Now, I know that a lot of companies had trouble manufacturing aerosol products when COVID was at its peak.
We had to adapt a little bit. It was difficult to get into their production schedules. So what we ended up doing is switching over to a bag-on-valve technology. We want everyone to know that all of those cans are working their way out of the stores, and the sprayer that all of our followers love on the can is back. So easy to use. So this is a silicone-based tire shine. The silicone will also act as a UV protectant, so it will help prevent fading and cracking. It will not damage your tire. We do always recommend spraying this on a clean, dry tire, but all you have to do is spray and walk away. What you don't want to do is overspray your tire. A little goes a long way with this stuff. So you could let it sit for a couple of minutes before you drive off, but it's just as easy as that.
Gotcha. Well, we've got a low VOC version here. 19 states.
VOC stands for volatile organic compound. So there are just different rules and regulations that those states have to abide by. These cans are on the shelf at O'Reilly Auto Parts, and actually the low VOC can is on the shelf at AutoZone as well.
You just take a look at it here, and the low VOC version does just as good a job as the traditional version. You can find Coverall and all the great products from Superior Products at superiorproducts.com, and of course at O'Reilly and AutoZone. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, so keep your TV tuned here.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. BrothersTrucks.com, your #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC truck restoration. Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. NH Oil Undercoating, the official oil-based rust prevention system. And by Code 4 LED. Take control.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. This is the "you're not going to believe this" portion of the show. This is Remediate from R3 Industrial. Rich, give us the overview. What does this do?
Remediate was designed to micro-encapsulate hydrocarbons. So you have spills out in the gas and oil industry, you have spills in your garage, under your car or parking lot. There's always some type of hydrocarbon spills. We started working in the gas and oil industry, cleaning up skids, giant motors, big Caterpillar engines, couldn't get the oil on the ground. So we found Remediate, and Remediate basically comes in and micro-encapsulate any oil that gets on the ground. Once it's captured, it's no longer a hydrocarbon. It's considered inert, no longer toxic, no longer hazardous. This is made with green materials. It's not a carcinogenic, it's great. You're not gonna have to worry about cancer or anything like that. This will actually clean any type of hydrocarbon. It's basically what it does, it turns it into a powder. So once it's microencapsulated, as you can see in some of the videos, you can just run your hand on it and it falls right off. So if you were remediating dirt, then basically it's transparent. So it takes on the characteristics of the dirt around it. It'll look like you don't even have a spill. So we can have a spill as big as we are right now and have it cleaned up in one day. No dig and haul, nothing like that.
And you just till it back into the soil.
Right. So what we also found out, when we're spraying the ground, we got this on the hard surfaces, the metal, the steel, the plastics. What we realized, it started capturing it while it was stuck on the actual surfaces. So we tried to power wash this. It did not have any Remediate on it. It's still there. Cold water, power wash. We remediated this side. As you can see, it removes oxidation, brings back the color. Oil's gone.
And there's oil on here that's literally probably older than me. Now, what about the folks that are watching this going, well, I've got a degreaser in the garage.
Right.
I can just use that.
Well, it's kicking the can down the road. You're taking the oil from here and you're dropping it to the ground. Well, you saw when we used Remediate, it microencapsulated, it turned it into flakes, it dropped to the ground, there was no oil residue on the ground. So if you did this with just a caustic soap, regular soap, it's gonna land on the ground, kick it down the road, it's gonna go into the drainage system, and then the city has to take care of it. Here, you're taking care of it before it even hits. So it's an environmentally friendly green product that microencapsulate hydrocarbons.
What else can you use it on?
Any type of hydrocarbon residue. It also works on glycol. So if you have some glycol spills, it works on that. It actually works on urine. If you got urine smell inside of a house, on the ground, in the backyard, it'll actually clean that up. It'll get rid of the smell immediately. It gets rid of chemical smells. It'll work on mold and mildew. Just spray it on your bathtub, let it sit, and wipe it down. The key to Remediate is patience. Spray it, let it sit, let it dry, come back, cut your cleaning time in half. That's the best part of that, because you're no longer chasing oil. You're no longer chasing grease. It works in restaurants, bacon grease, greasy floors.
Of course, our forklift project was super impressive, but the one that was super easy was the engine cleaning outside on that diesel. Gunk from years and years of use.
Again, it's patience. Now, it works really great when the sun's out, a hotter engine, it's gonna work really fast. A little colder weather, it takes a little bit longer. My recommendation is always spray it the day before. Come back the next day, wash it off, clean it off. But it's that easy. We cleaned that engine in one.
It took probably a half hour when all was said and done. But the actual effort from us was about 3 minutes.
Right, and that was with a cold water wash with a water hose.
Not even pressure wash.
If it was regular degreaser with caustic soap, you'd have to use hot water, push it around, again, leaving residue. This will leave no residue on the ground.
You've got to get some of this for yourself. It's called Remediate. You can find it at remediate.com. That's R3 Mediate. You are not going to believe the stuff this can do for you. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage and more cool products when we come back right after this. You always hear that the biggest enemy of any engine is the dry start. Every time you start the engine, it doesn't have any oil in it, and that creates problems. How long does it take to create a dry start situation, Kevin?
Well, 35 minutes and as little as 30 seconds.
And so a lot of folks talk about maybe a rattle when they start up, and is that what creates that, Jeff?
Yeah, you know, so many systems rely on simply oil pressure, let alone lubrication to work properly. You got cam phaser, gears, and you got like cam chain tensioner. Those items require the hydraulic pressure to work properly, and that lack of pressure till it gets satisfied causes problems with those systems.
But those few seconds can create so much damage in the engine over the course of time.
Absolutely.
So you have a solution.
We do, of course.
At Baxter Performance. Now tell me what you brought here.
Well, typical with cartridge filter systems, some have anti-drain back valves in them, but they don't have outflow prevention, so the oil filter can still be emptied. We have a solution for that. Some are mounted underneath and don't require any kind of prevention to keep it from outflowing because they're mounted underneath, but other ones are mounted up on top. So we have various solutions for the applications. That one is actually for the Ford 2.7 3-liter EcoBoost engines.
Okay.
They're mounted on top. They drain out in about 18 minutes.
Okay.
In your actual manual that you get with the vehicle, it tells you to wait 15 minutes before checking the oil level. And some people theorize that it's draining out of the heads. It takes a little while to get down there. You hope not, because you want that oil recirculating fast. So what ours does is it keeps it from draining out of the oil cooler and the filter that otherwise happens in 18 minutes.
Moving on from the Ford then, we have the Pentastar. This is Chrysler's.
Right,
Chrysler's
and
engine.
of course very popular with the Jeeps.
For sure. Also mounted on top. What's special about this?
We have about a 35-minute total drain out on that. Takes the cooler with it as well. We incorporate a full flow outflow check valve on the unit, and along with a Schrader valve that you just apply 3 seconds of compressed air, and it blows down the system so that when you remove the spin-on filter that you've converted it to, no mess at all.
And you have a special cleat here.
Absolutely. Because of the tight confinements with the engine configuration, when you install it, we had to figure out a way to keep it rotationally clocked to the right position to access the Schrader valve, what have you. So what we did was we incorporated a cleat here that actually distorts the threads that is tightened by a screw on the very end. When you install it and clock it to the right position, tighten it, it won't loosen, or in any way when you install the spin-on filter you're converting to or taking it off.
And that's for the newer Pentastar engines. The older ones are a little bit different. And
older ones are a little bit different. So we have, this variant is for 2014 and newer, but we'll be introducing oil filter adapters for the 2011 through 2013 versions of that engine.
Gotcha. I've got a friend with a Subaru. He says that thing rattles all the time when it starts it up.
Yeah, it does.
And this is the Subaru unit?
Yeah, so the same application here basically, but we incorporate the same check valve on top and the Schrader valve for evacuation. What happens with the Subaru is it drains out in about 30 seconds. It fills up the filter, right, and the headspace of air remains in the filter so that when you shut off the engine, that headspace goes to ambient pressure because it was compressed before, pushes it out, and then it totally empties. And because it shares the same vein, basically, that leads up from the pump, and it's only separated by a plate without a gasket, both sides actually evacuate, regardless if the filter even had an anti-drain back valve. So ours takes care of that by keeping both of those galleys flooded, and you never have a dry start.
What about the folks that want a different location? They want to relocate the oil filter?
Well, what we have here is Relocation Mount. This one is for Toyota, and we can port off the bottom or off the side, depending on the configuration. Some engines require mounting like this, other ones are like this. So it allows us to port out and go to a remote mount like we have here, and this is our inverted remote mount. But you'd have it for different reasons. You'd want to relocate it, or you want to add extra oil cooling, and this allows for that diversity to be able to adapt your cooling or relocation.
For 15 years or so, Toyota's been getting away from the spin-on filter. They've gone to the cartridge filter, and that creates a lot of problems.
Yes, so much so that they're actually transitioning now back to the spin-on filters, right? So they were having drain back issues, and some people just simply didn't like dealing with the cartridge filter system. So it's no surprise that they're going back to the reliable spin-on filter that incorporates an anti-drain back valve. And so you don't have a flow back on the filter anymore.
The Toyota behind us, we put an adapter from Baxter Performance on that. The installation was super simple. Of course, took off the skid plate to get access to it.
Yeah, it was plug and play. So all we do is we remove the cap and filter, apply lubrication to our O-rings that come pre-installed. You simply install it right where the cap was, and now you can apply your spin-on filter right on away.
Well, this is American ingenuity, and it's made right here in America. It's solving a huge problem. You can find them at BaxterPerformanceUSA.com. We'll return right after this with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, so keep it right here.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. Steel rubber products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. Timco Industrials, your parts washing solution. We have a washer for any application. Hitchworks, don't get caught with your doors off. And by Rupes USA, innovation, technology, design.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. When it comes to painting, the most important thing is the prep, and you got to make the paint stick to the surface you're going to paint. What's the best way to do that, Josh?
Well, Bulldog adhesion promoter has been around for over 20 years, and it's got a reputation for working on everything, but it's part of a system. So the first thing we want to do is make sure the surface is clean, especially plastics, and we want to use an abrasive prep and clean to break down the mold release agent and make it receptive to a coating. And then your adhesion promoter. We have two different versions of our adhesion promoter. We have a clear version and the plus, which is a primer sealer gray. So cool. You can see where you sprayed it, you can see how much you have on there. Both of them will work on just about any substrate. So it's got a lot of versatility in terms of how you use it and making paint stick.
And you're talking glass to plastic to wood, everything.
You hit it. So I mean, a couple of examples, we have some glass bottles here. That is actually also tinted, so that's Bulldog with tint mixed into it. We added paint to Bulldog to create a base layer so it'll give better hide on the top coats.
You want to see how flexible this is. You guys brought this in. This is really cool. Now, this is a beach ball you've had sitting in your garage for
4, 5, 6 months.
Okay, yeah. So you painted that, and it came in looking like this. So believe it or not, this is how flexible this stuff is. It is amazing, and this stuff is durable beyond belief.
Absolutely.
So cool. Now, let's talk about the ease of applying it.
So in your application, you want to put it on as a medium closed coat. And basically, you just don't want to see the white come through. Our gray version allows you to see that. A skilled painter or a tenured painter will use the clear version, and he's going to know exactly how to apply it. You shouldn't be looking for mill build either. You don't want to build product on there. It's just a layer to grab onto the substrate and the top coat.
Just enough to cover it, as you can see with the gray there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned, it works on everything, including chrome. We get a lot of questions about how do I paint chrome rims and chrome parts. You can use Bulldog to make paint stick to chrome.
This system's easy to use. What are some of the other benefits of it?
So we mentioned that it works on everything. There are several different resins in here compatible with automotive top coatings, and there's so much resin in there that it'll fill a 320 scratch. So it allows you to streamline the process and skip the primer sealer step and go straight to top coating on your adhesion promoter.
So you're talking, it makes it easier and it benefit for cost.
Time and material savings.
Excellent. Those are the two most important things. Time is money.
Yeah.
And how fast does it dry?
So it dries fast. I mean, you're talking about a 5 to 10 minute tack free, then you can top coat. The other nice thing is you have a much longer window to top coat. So if you want to adhesion promote the surface and then go to lunch, you can come back later. Most adhesion promoters on the market have a very tight window for top coating.
Now this system for Bulldog is great for the pros out there. What about the shade tree mechanic?
For general use, you've got the aerosol. This is going to work for just about anybody. The other nice thing is they don't have to worry about picking the right adhesion promoter for the substrate. So this will work on any plastic, it'll work on PVC, it'll work on painted surfaces, it'll work on chrome we talked about. And then for the professional, we have quarts and gallons in both versions, and we also have VOC compliant for the areas that are regulated.
The adhesion promoter system from Bulldog is going to save you time. It's going to save you money. You can find it at cleanstripauto.com.
Time now for the lowdown with Magic Creeper.
Here at Motorhead Garage, we are kind of a hybrid. We're part television studio, part actual garage. We do a lot of work in here. Of course, we have the tools of the trade. We have our jib arm here. There's going to be a camera loaded on there soon, and we have all of our tools to work on the various vehicles that come in here to Motorhead Garage, and a workbench over there from Dragonfire Tools. But there's one tool we use almost every single day, and that is the Magic Creeper. And I know we talk about it here on the show, but no joke, we use it day in and day out here at Motorhead Garage. When we're prepping vehicles here in the studio, there might be something on the lift, so when we're getting a vehicle ready maybe in the parking lot, we drop the Magic Creeper down. It saves our knees. It can also save our backs when we're getting under the vehicle or having to get down low. The Magic Creeper has 0 ground clearance. A traditional creeper can't do that. And of course, a traditional creeper is not going to be able to roll on rough pavement like we have out here in our parking lot. In fact, it can roll over gravel. It can roll over roots and trees. If you're out in the grass, maybe you're a shade tree mechanic. We have that here all the time at Motorhead Garage. And of course, when we hit the road, we have a Magic Creeper in all of our vehicles. We can use it in case of a breakdown. In case we need to make a fix on the road, the Magic Creeper is there for us. The Magic Creeper can only be found at one place, magiccreeper.com. If you find it anywhere else, it's an imitator. Do not settle for anything less than the original Magic Creeper. It also makes a great gift, by the way. Well, that's going to do it for this episode, but we're not done here at Motorhead Garage today. A lot of tidying up to do. I wanted to remind you, though, if you have something you want to see on our show, email Jeff at masterstv.com. We'll get you in here in the studio to show off your product to the world. Until next week, so long from Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings.